Hi, thank you. My name's Andrew Clark. I'm currently a bit obsessive about everyday citizenship, and it's a bit hard to stay still. I want to wander about. But anyway, everyday citizenship is about understanding how you live your day every day. In a sense, we understand ourselves as citizens. Say if you're a bicycle rider, as you ride along the road and you fall down a great big fucking hole, you're saying the government's not very good. If you want to go into a hospital waiting room and you have to wait 15 minutes or an hour or 5 hours, most people understand their role as a citizen when they notice the absence of government. It's the things that irritate us. So I began to think, because I started life as a health worker and now as a policy person, how could we actually tell stories to actually inform government about what we do every day with our lives? Because the problem is, most governments work at a population level, but how can we tell people about what happens with your day-to-day life? So I thought, why not use mobile phones? Most people carry around a mobile phone, and they can actually tell government when they get irritated, because that's generally the time you want to actually tell government you're not happy. Who would like to ring up their politician and say, I actually had a really good day today? It's like visiting the doctor and saying, I feel really well. Who went to the doctor last time and said, I feel really well, I just thought I'd drop in and actually waste some Medicare money? So in a sense, we can look around the world and say, how do I live my life? And so it's in the doing and understanding of your life and the rhythm of your life that you do it. But as I said, most people only want to talk about it when it goes wrong. Like your house burns down because the fire brigade doesn't turn up or something boring like that. So in essence, what if you began to have applications that you could actually begin to record what your life was like, but not those things about that they didn't collect the garbage. What if it was about if the trucks, if I can't get into the hospital? How do we as a citizen on the ground start to record the rhythm of our lives and where things work? Can you imagine an application where you took a picture and said, I'm waiting for the 9:10 bus and here's an empty bus stop and it's now 9:20. Remember that ministers at the higher level never make mistakes. They're only misinformed. So what you do is you say to the minister, I'm sorry, minister, I did wait, in fact, 20 minutes. As you know, New South Wales Transport changed, they got to a 90% accuracy rate in their buses turning up time by actually saying if it was 15 minutes late, it wasn't actually late, it was just sort of on time. So what you need to do is begin to think of new ways so the top and the bottom can talk. But we need to understand how people's lives live and the way policy people work. Having been a policy person, I can tell you think quite differently from what people think of their everyday life. But in a sense, the best way to understand people's lives is about understanding the rhythms of their local communities and where they live. Most people actually don't vary very much. There was some research done which showed people mostly only vary about 3 kilometres in their daily routines. How many of you didn't actually go from your home to work today to do it? But most people just track from there. But what we have now on phones is the capacity to actually look at how you live. We can actually track where something happens through your phone. We also have cameras in these, so we can actually take a picture and also know where that picture was taken. We can also begin to put tags on those pictures to say this is a particular bit of information I want to put up. One of the problems in Twitter is people put lots of information up, but how do you turn that into knowledge? In a sense, one of the problems with Twitter is like having the phone book in non-alphabetical order. How do you ever actually find anything? So we have the individual going around their lives, they can look at their lives, but it's in reference to other people that our worlds make sense. So what I'm actually saying, can I give people applications to begin to reflect on their own lives? For example, if we had an application, as I said, if you're a bicyclist, you could begin to record your route to work and record the number of times you almost fell down the pothole or the bicycle route disappeared. You actually take a picture of it, you record where it is and some comments. You can then begin to share that information with other people. So you start to get a critical mass of people feeding information in. But what's really important is the information you bring in has to be organised in a way that you can share it. The problem is often we mistake lots of information, lots of data for information. We can't sort it out. So what I'm saying, if we can begin to use the information from people and organise it in such a way, we can actually shine a mirror up. Can you imagine an application if people did trains were late and we gave it out to a day of rage where everyone took a picture of their trains turning up on time? Can you imagine we'd say, Minister, I'm sorry, we have 10,000 people saying the trains are actually 10 minutes late. Or how clean? Or was your hospital clean? Or were you seen? I recently went to New South Wales Health and actually told them, how about an application where people will actually record how long they took to wait? But to do that, you actually need a common language. And what librarians and others have been doing from the beginning of time is trying to figure out how you can actually make things shareable. And governments, remember, and their policy people are obsessed about information, but actually storing it. What if the people themselves use the same information and store it in such a way so we can begin to talk to governments about their own data, but we can turn it around so much more quickly. For instance, the disability data in New South Wales collected takes 2 years to turn around. What if we were able to turn that around in 1 or 2 hours? But ultimately it's about people's lives and how do we actually tell governments about what happens in everyday life and how can we feed that back in such a way, in the same language, we make policy people and governments accountable for what they do. Thank you.